Okay, here we go. So, today we are going to have an exciting excursion or exciting journey by way of the internet. We're going to follow the Q haplogroup lineages. Now, the Q haplogroup lineages have been assigned to the Medes, and I was just watching a video that said, when it talks about the Medes and the Persians are kind of like a group that is not really identifiable very well, but the Medes definitely were identified in history. They were a people. Not to say there's not Persians, of course, but they're just generally not understood exactly what the Persians were. They were just Persians, I guess, something like that. But then, of course, the Medes um, became the dominant force, and they even went up against Syria, Babylon, everybody, and even took over Nineveh, went as far as Nineveh, went farther, went all the way to Lydia, made an accord with Lydians, and so they were all the way into the Mediterranean. So I think what we're going to see today is might be a little bit shocking. So let's go to the map. Okay, this is the Q haplogroup lineages here. And as you can already see, it's not showing the common narrative. The common narrative is that the lineages crossed the Bering Strait, and then they're trying to figure out how they got through the ice and the snow, but they think it went through the ice and the snow down into America. And that could be the case. However, the DNA evidence is not corroborating that story. For example, like it could be true that you can see here the proximity of Alaska with this lineage here. Probably these are the descendants that crossed the Bering Strait. The only problem is there's no connection to South America, as we will see. Now, I can't run through the whole simulation because it takes forever, because it starts out 160,000 years, and there's no activity happening until about 25,000 years. And of course, that dating is very suspect, obviously, since there's a limit of 5,000 years of human history of these haplogroups in the world. So that's as far back as you can go with any haplogroup living today is 5,000 years. So let me go back and just show what this is, what I'm talking about here. And it surprised me, and it might surprise many of you. Of course, some of these lineages, some of these lines here are from recent travel, of course. But we're going to go back into history here and see what's going on. Okay, so we start out 25,000 years ago, or 26,000 years, and we have a haplogroup. The Q looks like what is it, an L 472 or something, and then they start to spread out from there, as you can see, and right away they're in America. Like how is that possible? This, of course, according to their dating methods, but look at the lineage pathway. Okay, right there is like when they were confronting Lydians. and they made an agreement with the Lydians, which is in Anatolia. If you can see where that is. Oh, no, that's not there yet. There, now it's with Anatolia. But then right away you have a lineage that goes across off the coast of Africa and then jumps right to America. Very early on, according to this, is like 16,000 years ago, which of course is not 16,000, but it's like this, at the same moment they jump. Well, they jump to the east first there, but then right away, when they encounter, as soon as they encounter the Lydians right there in Anatolia, you see that it's right below the Black Sea. There's a group that somehow makes it off the coast of Africa and immediately goes right over into Central America. Immediately. And this is before, see, there's no lineages up in the Bering Strait yet. There's no lineage in the Bering Strait yet. They're close, but they're not there yet. But watch how this progresses. Okay, so all of a sudden they're in Central America and they start branching out. And of course, they went into Europe as well. By the time they're in the British Isles, they're already branching out all across America, and still there's no Bering Strait people. So it branches out some more. Still no Bering Strait people. So America is full of lineages, even almost more so than back in the ancient world, the old world. Look at all the lineages there are already in South America. It's like the population exploded right at the time where the Medes made an agreement with the Lydians in Anatolia. So let's see how it goes. Okay, now the Bering Strait people show up. Now there's a lineage with a Bering Strait people. And this is, let me see what this is. It's kind of hard to control, but it's about 2,700 or 2,700. And now the Bering Strait people appear. I mean, they might have been there before, but the point being that there's no direct lineage going through the Bering Strait down to through America, North America, down through Central America. All these lineages came from across the Atlantic. So everything they've been saying about the Bering Strait and going through the ice and the snow and everything, they don't have DNA to back that up. There was already huge populations in South America at the time. Now, the Olmec civilization was probably already there. The Olmecs, if you know what they are, the C haplogroup, the Olmecs, they were probably already there in Central America. But look at the size of the population in America before any Bering Strait activity, I mean, lineage, but then it could have been there. Now watch this other one. See the Pacific Ocean, like Guam somewhere? You have a lineage that goes into the Pacific Ocean over on the right side in Guam. If I let off, it's going to stop. But then watch where that lineage goes. It's going to cross the Pacific and reach South America. So that lineage reached South America across the Pacific. It crossed the Pacific, but it's a Q haplogroup from the Medes. They crossed the Pacific as well as the Atlantic to get to the Americas, to get to South America. So there's one lineage came across. Well, that, come to think of it, this might be too late. This is too late. Yeah, this might be recent travel. Yeah, that's, come to think of it, this is recent travel here. But there in the Bering Strait shows up about, now it's saying 4,000 years ago. The lineages in America of the Q haplogroups in America has already been there for a long time, which crossed the Atlantic and not the Pacific. And this crossing of the Pacific is probably Guam, and it's probably recent travel. But this other Atlantic crossing, which is just a single crossing, that single crossing accounts for all these lineages in South America, the Q haplogroup, which is the Native American haplogroup. And that crossing happened when the Medes encountered the Lydians. Right there. According to the dating methods, which the dating methods aren't reliable, but this is still ancient. It says 17,000 years ago. So then, as soon as you have contact with the Lydians, according to this, they've already reached Central America, according to their dating methods, which are semi-reliable, but of course they come up with the wrong. They put in the wrong information. They come up 15,000 years ago. Of course, there's no 15,000 years ago, but it's well before modern travel, and it's before the Bering Strait travel. Well, it's long before the Bering Strait travel. As you can see, the lineage is spread out in South America. There's still no Bering Strait travel, according to them. Then when there finally is a Bering Strait travel from the east, there's already a huge lineage in South America. See that huge lineage in South America? Supposedly before any lineages, but probably the lineages were there, but they don't connect with the Central American and South American lineages. They don't connect because it's a different lineage. It's not the same lineage, and it's not the same time frame. So, for whatever it's worth, Native Americans are from a population of the Medes that jumped off the coast of Africa, landed in Central America, the Caribbean, and it looks like Jamaica or somewhere, but they landed right in the Caribbean very, very early on. Very early on. All of a sudden, just like that, it jumps all the way over. So, and it also jumps to the east as well. But the problem is it's not the same lineage. It's a lineage going in the opposite direction, which is not the same lineage. So the Medes were prolific travelers or very early on. And they're the culture that didn't have writing. It didn't have writing. They didn't write down their own history. But they were very, very mobile. Extremely mobile, as you can see. So This is just one point, one aspect of following the DNA. This is just one haplogroup, and there's many, many other things, lineages to follow of many other different people. So you can see all this all this stuff here, and still there's no Bering Strait travel. It goes all the way here. Maybe it did cross the Bering Strait by then, but the problem is that the lineages don't connect. It's not the same. It's from the same place, apparently. Well, actually, this one's from here. I don't know which one went first, or if one went back. Maybe it went here, went back, went over there, and went here, and went there. But that's not what the evidence seems to show. So, anyways, let's see what's going on. See if anything going on here. There we go. We got David, USA here. So there are the R1s, R1A, R1B, descendants of Native Americans. Yes, but they don't show it. I just went through it, and they don't have any. They're showing R1Bs going to America, and very early on too, but not to the Great Lakes region. And a lot of them go right to Virginia. When you see it goes to Virginia, that's Jamestown already. So we can look at that in a minute, maybe. Let's see what we got here. The American diplomat and journalist Mordecai Manuel Noah also proposed the idea that the indigenous people of the Americas are descended from the Israelites in his publication American Indians. Yeah, the problem with that, there's not a whole lot of Y haplogroup evidence of that. There's two Semitic lineages in America that are Semitic. The first one is A, and this A lineage is a mitochondrial lineage that follows the descendants of the Medes, the descendants of Madai, because Madai is said to have asked to marry one of the daughters of Shem. So everywhere that Madai or the Medes go, this mitochondrial lineage follows. In America, it's A, which seemed to be the indication of a Bering Strait crossing. But then again, maybe not, because according to this Y haplogroup, we can look at the mitochondrial lineages too, for that matter, which is a huge, huge study that we're probably going to be digging into in the near future. So yeah, I've heard about that, and but then there's another Semitic mitochondrial lineage that is the B lineage. That lineage doesn't seem to cross the Bering Strait, or I don't know. We'll have to check it out with the mitochondrial lineage. But that lineage seems to me to have crossed the Pacific Ocean, which is a possibility. But the problem is that there's no surviving Y chromosomes other than the C3 in America and the Q. And with the exception of some other traces, but they probably went to America at a much later date. I think this Mordecai guy, I think he's talking more about South America. And there are Semitic features in South American natives. But I think those Semitic features in South American natives are from the B lineage, which is Semitic and is Middle Eastern Semitic. But it went through South Asia, all the way through the Philippines, and all the way through the Pacific Islands. And it seems to have crossed all the way into South America. That's how the B lineage got there. And right in South America is a lot of Semitic features, whether it's, regardless of which Semitic lineage it is, it's Semitic features, because there is more than one Semitic lineage. The Jews aren't the only Semitic lineage. They're not the only ones with the big noses. There's all the other Semitic populations, and you have depictions of them in the Babylonian artwork. You have depictions of them, of Semitic people. They look like more like servants or something, but they're depicted in the Babylonian art. But there's so much to get into. I think we got our work cut out for us. We're just barely scratching the surface of all the genetic information we can trace here. Being the descendants of the lost tribe of Israel. There was Israelites. Like I said, there was Israelites that were trying to go to the Philippines to find gold, apparently. So they, like I said, the B lineage made it all the way to America, but there's no Semitic or Judaic Y chromosome anywhere in South Asia or the Philippines. So it's a possibility they went maybe as far as the Philippines, but they didn't last too long. I mean, the male lineage didn't last too long, because of course that's the first thing to suffer. The first lineage that's going to suffer is the male lineage, but the maternal lineage made it all the way to America by way of South Asia, because there was a a people that tried to get to the land of gold in South Asia. Thus, according to several R1b, there was most likely introduced through admixture during post 1914 European settlement of North America. That R1b, well, I mean, it's a possibility, I guess, but it's 1492. Yeah, 1492. Uh, yeah, I guess it's a possibility, but it's conspicuous that it's in the area of the ancient copper mines, along with the X2A, which is a mitochondrial lineage that's both in Galilee and the Great Lakes region. So when that happened is up for discussion, but it seems to have happened early on. Okay, R1. M173 is found predominantly in North America groups like the Ojibwe, 50 to 79% Seminole, 50% Seminoles, Sioux, 50%, Cherokee, 47%, Dog Rib, 40%, and the Ahono, Oldaham, Pagago, 38%. The R1. But that's a huge percentage, though. Those are huge percentages. And that's all up in the Great Lakes region, too. They're huge percentages. The subclade haplogroup of M173, previously called R1, signatures of founder effects admixture and selection in Ashkenazi Jewish population, which, if it's in the Jewish population, that's just a telltale sign that it was probably from the days of the Phoenicians in the days of King Solomon. Because you have all the Mediterranean haplogroups, including R1b, in America. You have the R1b, you have the T, you have the Q, you have the E, which is Egyptian, you have the B, you even have the B, which is Kush. And you have the I1, which is Mediterranean. You have the I2, which is Mediterranean. And you have the J1 and the J2, which is Israelite and Judaic in America. But it's all a signature, including the G of the Assyrian. You have the Syrian G in America too. You have all these haplogroups in America, which is pretty much a signature of the Phoenician people in the days of King Solomon that controlled the entire Mediterranean. But I think this crossing here of the Q haplogroup was even before that, because that was when the Medes were trying to overcome the Lydians, but they failed to overcome the Lydians. There's just so much to learn here, so much to see. Sequoyah was one of the most influential figures in Cherokee history. He created Cherokee's syllabary, a written form of Cherokee language. The syllabary allowed literacy and printing to flourish in the Cherokee Nation in the early 19th century and remains in use today. System is known as syllabary. Some of the symbols were adapted from Greek, Hebrew, and English letters. Huge advantage of Sequoyah system is its purposeful simplicity. Within 6 months of its completion, about 1/4 of the Cherokee people had already learned to read and write. Okay, so that's very interesting. Let's go look at the R1B and see how that works here. It might take a little time. I'm still sharing, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead and look at the R1B. See what happens here. So we'll go here and come on. Having trouble with my computer here a little bit. So we'll go to the R1B and we'll bring that up. Hopefully it's faster than Q, because the Q starts off like 160,000 years ago, but I think this one will start sooner. Takes a little time to upload this information into the browser thing here. And in the meantime, I can't move anything until it goes through. The R1B. Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with my connection here, or my computer function here. I think it has to do with the connection. There's the R1B. So what we'll do, we'll click on this icon here. And that will get us the lineages. And we have the lineages, okay. These are the lineages of R1B. I can't get the thing to move yet. I need to center it. Okay. I guess this will give us a general idea. This is R1B. These are the descendants of Ribfath. So we have the descendants of Ribfath here. We'll just go ahead and click on this icon here. Start the animation. See when it's going to start. It's going to start 20,000 years ago. So there's a start of the R1B. That's in right about the right place. That's the of the Eurasians, the sons of Japheth. So it starts out around right about 12,000, 11,000, and it's probably not going to go to the Great Lakes regions, but it will go to Jamestown because they didn't find any genetic uh, information in the Great Lakes region, apparently, or any lineages there yet. So we're down to 8,000 years ago, and it's starting to move out, the R1b. The sense of rib path. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden, you have a lineage that crosses the Pacific Ocean. It's in America. First lineage crossed the Pacific Ocean. It's in the Americas, according to their dating and their lineages. But it's not so much the dating; it's the lineage. It's where the lineage came from. Now, if we can center this a little bit better, it's almost finished. The simulation or the animation. 500 years, 400 years. Okay, take it easy. Let's see. Okay, it's finished. See if I can move it. There we go. Make it smaller. I should use these buttons here. Yeah, I'm going to have to restart the computer to get this thing working better, but get the general idea, I guess. Okay. So let's run that back. Oh, okay, run it back some more. Okay. Notice this lineage, it goes off, I guess, to Guam or somewhere. This is supposedly 6,000 years ago. Now, and it's already, see how early this is? Before there's any other lineages, there's already a lineage in America that crossed the Pacific Ocean. It's R1b. Now, that in itself is very conflicting. And then it fills out, and this is when it starts moving. Now, after this, you can say, well, it's more modern times when there's more modern travel. But the lineage of the R1b already made it to America. It was already there in America, if their dating method is correct. But it's the lineage that's important. And it would seem to me like they would have already been all throughout Southern Europe by now. And now apparently they are. Now some more. There's some in Africa too, because there's an R1b in Africa as well. And then that right there represents Jamestown. See that jump to America right there? That's Jamestown. That right there is Jamestown. So that's already after 1492. Okay, but this other one is way, way, way before, according to their dating methods. That is a little bit interesting. But I still don't think, even if you fast forward, even if you fast forward a little bit past Jamestown, they're still going to all go past the Great Lakes region. There's nothing going to the Great Lakes region. It's all missing the Great Lakes region for all intents and purposes. But this is, of course, is later travel. So anyways, we could, what I would like to do is follow, like to follow the mitochondrial lineage. So, but probably gonna have to do that another live stream because my computer is not working. I'm gonna have to restart the whole thing and everything. So this is a good start for right now, though, just to get started. We're just barely scratching the surface of everything that we can find out here with the genetic haplogroups. So that's it for today. That's about it for today. We'll do some more investigating. We'll learn some more really neat things. So God bless everyone. Take care. Truth will set us, will deliver us from darkness, set us free. God bless you.